Okay, today we are reacting to her story. This is basically the girl version of his story. So let's jump right into it. And yeah, let's jump right into it.
Pool, and my sister yelled, "What is wrong with you? Let her play." And I said, "Nobody's watching this pool. She could drown and none of you would notice." But she grabbed her daughter back. She'd be screaming and splashing if she was drowning, so I'd hear her. No, a drowning kid can't scream. It's completely silent. But she just put her daughter back in the water and called me paranoid while she walked away. But when I looked at my niece, she was already at the deep end. Then her head tipped back and slipped under the water and she went quiet. I knew she was drowning, so I screamed to the adults in the deep end, "My niece is drowning. Somebody grab her." But they just
Bro, this is messed up.
confused, so I ran for the deep end. But then my sister stepped in front of me. "Stop this! You're embarrassing me in front of everyone. Let me through. She could die." I looked back at my niece, and her body kept sinking straight down. So I lunged past my sister, but she blocked me again. "She's fine. She'd be screaming if she was really drowning." But my niece couldn't make a sound, and I finally had enough. I shoved my sister and dove into the water. I grabbed my niece from the bottom of the pool and pulled her up and out and laid her flat on the deck, but she was limp. And that's when my sister finally realized she was drowning. "Oh my God, she's not moving. Save her." I tilted her head back and gave her rescue breaths, but nothing happened. My sister dropped to her knees, sobbing while the yard went silent. I breathed for her again. Nothing. Then she coughed up a mouthful of water and gasped, and everyone exhaled in relief. I held her while my sister crawled over with her hands shaking. She never made any noise. She never called out for help. That's what drowning really looks like. Then my niece looked at her mom. "Next time you should listen to Auntie." I yanked my niece. I was opening a package I'd
That
ordered.
was a crazy video.
I was opening a package I'd ordered
What is this
online
one
when I
about?
saw a note above it that said, "Call this number. Please help me," scrawled in what looked like dried
What?
blood. My hands started shaking. A stranger helped me once when I had no one, and I never forgot it, so I typed the number into my phone and texted it. My stomach dropped when a reply came through seconds later. They sent an address 10 minutes from my house and 3 more words. "Please, come now and save us." My gut told me this
What
was a
is
bad
this
idea,
about?
but I drove straight to the address anyway. It led me to a windowless warehouse at the end of an empty road, and when I reached the entrance, a man met me with a wide smile. "Can I help you?" But behind him, I saw
What?
a room full of young women hunched over sewing machines, their hands raw and split, dirt smeared across their faces. One girl about my age met my eyes for half a second, then dropped them. "Are they okay? The workers?" I asked, and his smile stayed frozen. "They're fine. Ask her yourself." The girl didn't look up. "Everything's fine," she whispered, flinching as his eyes cut to her. I tried to step past him, but he shifted into the doorway, his smile gone. "Get off my property before you regret it." My heart slammed,
Get
but
off
the
my
note was still
property,
in my pocket.
yeah.
So before I turned to leave, I texted the number one last time. "I'm here. If you need help, cough." For a second, nothing. Then, from inside, a single cough. My eyes shot to the girl in the apron, coughing again, staring right at me. That was all I needed. I stepped back and called 911, giving them the address low and fast, my eyes never leaving her. But the man caught her looking. "Get back to work, peasant." His face twisted as he grabbed her arm and dragged her further inside. My heart stopped because I just made it worse, so I yelled, "The police are already coming." He froze, and seconds later, sirens screamed around the corner. Officers flooded past me. "Ma'am, step back." They pulled her out as her legs buckled onto a stretcher, and I pushed to her side and shoved the note into her hand. "This might be the only reason any of you get out." She gripped it to her chest. "Most of us never get a note out. We
Guys,
just disappear."
I will
was
be
opening
right
a package
back.
I'd ordered online.
I'm making a video. What do you want?
Oh, crap, sorry.
You're good. I'm reacting to her story. After this video, if you watch this, there's going to be a video out on Fortnite. Okay? So, yeah. That was our quick break in the video. And go subscribe to Zen and Friends. They're a really good channel. Okay, back to the video.
When I saw a note above it that said, I was scanning groceries for a mom and her daughter, but when I read the total out loud, the mom's eyes filled with panic. "Oh my God, prices rose 20%? I nodded, and she opened her empty wallet and started sobbing right there at my register. Her little girl eyed a loaf of bread like she hadn't eaten in days, and the mom grabbed it. "I'm sorry, honey, we have to put it back." I was barely making rent myself, but something made me stop. "Do you have any food stamps?" I asked quietly. Her eyes lit up, and she dug them out of her pocket and handed them to me. They'd expired just yesterday, but I was going to take them anyway. Before I could scan them, my manager snatched them from my hand. "These are expired. We can't take these." He looked the mom up and down with disgust. "If you're broke, you shouldn't be shopping here." He threw them back at her and walked off.
What
The
is
little
this?
girl
This
looked
is
up at her
bad.
mom. "We haven't eaten today. I'm so hungry." I couldn't let it go. The second he was gone, I scanned the stamps anyway, knocking the total down to $20, and I covered the rest myself. The mom grabbed my hands, thanking me over and over like I'd saved her life. But as they packed their groceries, I saw my manager watching me from the corner of the store. The second the family left, my manager stormed over. "Those stamps were expired. expired. That's $200 of the store's money. Pay it back now or you're fired immediately. I opened my wallet. I only had $300 to my name and rent was due tomorrow. Handing him that $200 meant losing my apartment, but I thought about that little girl crying and paid it anyway. But that sacrifice was the best thing I could have done because a few weeks later, that same mom walked in with her little
This
girl
is
and set an
crazy.
envelope on my counter. The day you helped us, we'd lost everything after my husband passed. My daughter and I hadn't eaten in 3 days, and you were the only one who treated us like we mattered. But his life insurance finally came through. Inside was $1,000. Sometimes the smallest act of kindness is the thing that saves a life. I was scanning groceries for
That's
my mom and
good.
her daughter, but when I
That's
read the
happy.
total out loud,
Okay, we're gonna watch one more video, then we're gonna end the video for today. Okay? Okay, let's go.
my phone slipped and cracked on the grocery store tiles. Fuck.
No, I
picked it
hate
up
when that
frustrated, and a
happens.
small voice behind me immediately copied me. Fuck. I turned and saw a tiny
What?
boy in glasses grinning at me. The mother looked shocked, and I felt horrible. I went to apologize, but she lunged to hug me. My son is 10 and nonverbal. This is the first time he's ever spoken. Thank you. I looked at the boy. His first word was fuck. My phone slipped and cracked on the grocery
Okay, we're gonna watch another one. What?
store top. My husband barged in while I was about to give birth and instantly started putting cameras everywhere while his lawyer waited outside. I asked him what he was doing, but he just smiled, showing you actions have consequences. And just as I was about to respond, my daughter popped out mixed race while we were both white. How was this possible? I looked over to my bedside expecting him to be angry, but instead, he was literally popping confetti. I knew you cheated. I knew it. He was like a kid in a candy store. I couldn't believe it. I truly had never cheated. The lawyer served me divorce papers, and they walked out, Norman yelling, this was the best day of his life. I didn't understand. Why was he so happy? And how was this possible? I went home and started looking for anything to explain what just happened, but then I saw our marriage folder wasn't there. I checked the cameras and saw Norman took it. Why would he do that? I called him immediately, and he showed up with his lawyer. I demanded to see the folder, but he shook his head. I pulled up the footage and said, either hand it over or I report you and you explain to a judge why you're stealing your own marriage papers. Norman immediately gave me them. Inside, I saw a brand new clause I'd never seen, added just 3 weeks ago. It said if one of us ever cheated, we owed the other $3 million, aka my whole inheritance. I was horrified, and when I looked at the dotted line, I saw my own signature. I'd never signed this, but Norman was smirking. See you in court. Being a cheater is expensive. I sat there losing my mind. I knew I never cheated, so I decided to get a paternity test. I prayed the baby was somehow Norman's, and this was a gene mutation, but the results came back, and the father was Norman's friend Tyrone. I freaked out. I'd never spoken to Tyrone alone, ever. I called him immediately and explained everything, but he just went completely silent and refused to answer. He hung up without a word. In the courtroom, Norman was already grinning like he won. His lawyer presented the clause, the delivery room footage, and the paternity test, while I had nothing. It was a slam dunk case because from the outside, it really looked like I cheated. The judge went to bang her gavel, but then the doors flew open. Tyrone walked in holding his phone. He had footage from his apartment's security camera. It showed Norman breaking in and stealing Tyrone's medical cooler, filled with Tyrone's IVF sperm samples. Norman's face crumpled. You inseminated your wife with my sperm. That's why the baby is mine. Judge, I'm not paying child support. My jaw dropped as I realized why the baby came out mixed, and the judge immediately ordered a search warrant. They found sedatives and syringes in Norman's belongings, and as he was led away, I whispered, actions have consequences. My husband barged in while I was
That's crazy. Okay, that is the last one for today. See you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And bye!